Welcome to Monster Man!
Arg, arg, arg,
Ugh, ugh, ugh,
arg.
ugh, ugh.
1, 2, 3 args.
Hello, Hunter.
Hello, Jackie.
We're in that beginning of summer
Mm,
phase where we have trouble getting together to do shows.
yes. But the AC's on, the sun is out, the grill will be lit later.
Actually, when I hang up from you, I'm going to put my AC in.
Oh, I had to do that last week.
Yeah, because there's no AC right now, so if I start dabbing...
I had to put mine in because my daughters were going to the prom and they needed the room nice and cold so they didn't sweat when they were getting ready.
Is there anything worse than when you got to go to a wedding in the summertime and you drive, and by the time you get there, your back is sweating from the car?
And you're already uncomfortable because you're in a monkey suit that you don't want to be in.
Yes.
It is awful.
And you're like, I hope I can air dry before somebody wants to slow dance with me. You're like, ew!
He's moist. Dancing with SpongeBob.
So we did not review a movie in depth when it came out, but now that it's on Blu-ray, I wanted to talk about it. Do you know which movie I'm talking about?
Well, that clue. I'm gonna say the Boogans.
You'd be a very good guess, but it's actually The Witch.
Oh, the witch. The witch.
The Witch. Well, it's double V, so The Witch.
Witch.
So, as you may notice, I actually bought this on Blu-ray.
Which I'm thinking of doing too, because it was.
I want to watch the extra stuff on this one.
How miserable was the crew in the woods?
Yeah, right?
Let's take a look at the lady's underarm hair.
I thought this movie in some ways had a lot in common with another movie, It Follows.
In that it's
Polarizing. Controversial.
Sure is.
Like, I think some people probably went and saw this movie and were like, what the hell was that? And other people like me who were like, wow, that was so different and original, and the performances were great, and it just...
I took my mommy to the movie theater to see it, and even she liked it, and she's not a horror movie buff. It's funny because I also took her to see It Follows. There are 3 horror movies I've taken her to see: You're Next, It Follows, and The Witch. So every year, I seem to take her to a good, independent horror movie that kind of is different and polarizing. But yeah, I thought The Witch was... I was really surprised at how strong the performances were. It's so strong that, like, those twin kids, they freaked me out.
The creepiest twins since The Shining.
Oh my god. What was the name of the goat that they were calling him?
Oh,
Black Andrew or something?
Yeah. Black... I'm thinking Black Adam, but that's the Shazam bad guy.
See, and I think of Black Adder with Mr. Bean. But they were just so... I mean, twins already kind of creeped me out.
Oh, do you know who else had a great performance? Was the little boy?
Oh, the brother?
Yeah, the brother.
Yeah, who there was all these weird sexual undertones in the movie too.
That's part of what I loved about it. Like that's like an unspoken but realistic, especially like a kid coming of age out in isolation, and his sister's the only person. Like, and it's not like he's obsessed with it. It's just like it crosses his mind when something flashes, and you're like, ooh, the seeds have been planted.
If I can steal a flash of a boob, I'm going to take it, because there's no YouPorn, there's no Wi-Fi out here in 1700 America.
One thing I loved about the movie, and I don't think this is too much of a spoiler, but a lot of these witch movies, it's always like, is it supernatural or is it real? Right. You sort of get an answer pretty quickly that there's something supernatural going on in this movie.
Well, yeah, just by the way that the baby was taken, that couldn't be natural. I mean, I love that. That was a great scene when the big sister's like going, boo, and the baby would laugh, and then she just does it for like that moment, and the baby's gone.
Yeah, and they show that in a trailer.
You just see like the high grass kind of moving a little bit, where in the distance where something has taken the baby. Really freaky.
Yeah, so I remember walking. So like the movie, I don't know. There's like 2/3 of the movie interesting. It's a little hard to follow because they're speaking in like that old English.
Jacobian. They went straight for Jacobian English, which I thought would be harder to understand. I went in going, oh crap, this is going to be like reading something, spoken to you from back then, but it wasn't. They weren't so bad.
But then, like, the third act of that movie is awesome.
It's I don't say it doesn't go off the rails. It's
It
a
just kicks
really
up a
good.
notch.
Yeah, it's a really good third act and you're so invested in these people. They're so weird. Again, I want to ask you now. It seemed there was definite this jealousy between the mother and the oldest daughter. Did you think? And this only came to me later that the mother was jealous of the daughter, A, for her youth, and B, maybe the husband, her father, was sexually attracted to her as well, and the mother sensed that.
Ooh, I didn't think of that.
Because I saw sex through this whole thing, and the father had sometimes the way he looked at his daughter, I was like, uh-oh. And if the mother is catching on this is why she keeps throwing the daughter under the bus every chance she
That
gets.
father felt like a overcompensating for guilt, religious.
Yeah. But so
Yeah,
much
no,
so
you're
that-
right. There was definitely sex laced through the whole thing, which is part of the great undertone of the whole thing. And that's like in the whole witchcraft lore.
Yeah. I mean, Wiccan, when you do see witches, they're naked.
Mm-hmm.
Or how about that really hot witch that lures the brother in?
Yes, that's what I'm talking about. Like,
Woo!
I love that. Like, what 13-year-old boy would, hell, right now, if I was walking in the woods,
Saw that, you'd be like, all right.
I'm in.
Probably a witch that's going to turn into an old crone. That's all right. Doesn't look like an old crone right now.
I've beer goggled worse.
But yeah, but my favorite thing about that, it's funny you bring up It Follows, because both of them have this sense of isolation. In The Witch, it's the family has basically been thrown out of their town because of the father's religious belief, and they are so isolated. It's might as well be an island.
Oh, yeah.
Whereas It Follows, the main character in It Follows, she's isolated in that the thing is coming for her, and no matter how many people she surrounds herself with, they can't help her.
Right.
Because they can't see it coming. So she's in isolation despite being immersed and surrounded by friends. And I think that was what makes both of those movies really work.
And they're both movies that, like, you and I love both of them. And there's other people that just hate them. They're like,
Good.
well, it's got to be it's got to be more of a formula for them to...
Yeah. The big accusation both movies get is, it's boring. I'm bored.
The ending of that movie, of The Witch, I personally loved.
Yes, I could see exactly why you'd love that.
I just thought it was so... Because I was like, it takes a turn, and it just says, I've got the balls to do this.
Right. Even I was like, I didn't see that coming.
No. Now, they describe this movie as like a New England folktale or something like that.
Yeah.
And I lived in Salem, Mass for a while, so I mean, I know the guy who owned the Witch Dungeon, and I've got my up to my gills in the witch stuff. And half the time the disappointment in witch movies is like when it's about the Salem witch trials, and it's always just girls being accused of being witches, and this is sort of like what if there really were witches like that?
Right, exactly.
And I was like, that's what you want to see. Like, yeah, we got the history part. Let's have some fun with it now.
Yeah, and don't give me a witch riding a broom either. Give me something different. And that, even though there's a supernatural element through the movie is based in such a harsh, stark reality.
Oh, yeah.
That when it does kick into high gear, it's like it's jarring to your senses in a good way.
If you slept in a cabin or camped out at the edge of the woods in a remote area, then the sounds of the forest at night would keep you awake. You'd be like, what the hell? Especially in that cold New England outback or whatever.
Right.
But then to actually have something menacing like that somewhere in there.
And knowing your protector is somebody that the whole family looks at as a failure. The father's a failure. He can't keep them in town where they belong. He can't build the house properly because the house is a mess. He can't grow crops. He can't hunt. Like, he can't do anything right. So this whole family is depending on this guy who fails at every turn, and they know it.
Now, did you recognize the mother?
No. Although, which is Game of Thrones. She
Yeah.
was...
She's the one that would breastfeed her kid when he was like 10.
Yeah. I didn't recognize her watching the movie. I was like, wow, where did they find that hideous-looking woman?
She's fascinating looking.
Ooh. Yeah. And young. Like, in the movie, she's not that old.
Yeah, she's
really old.
She plays, I think, older than... But that was perfect casting. She could... The creepy ass mother with a... You're totally right. The mother-daughter relationship is huge in this movie. It harkens to the real life struggles between mothers and daughters.
Yeah.
And how they don't have counselors, and this girl doesn't have girlfriends that she can, and the mother's a psycho.
Yeah, and she has nobody to confide in either.
And then when you add like religious nuttiness to things,
exactly.
It never ends well.
Oh, it was I was uncomfortable through that whole movie. I would even feel like they're cold and their hunger.
Yeah.
And the sense of darkness, like all you have is a candle. Once the sun goes down, they have one candle to light the whole place.
Now I'm curious, I haven't watched this yet. I'm curious what a second viewing of this is going to be like. Now that I'm watching, am I going to feel like it's too slow at the beginning? Am I so psyched, or am I going to appreciate?
Yeah.
They did things like they made the rabbit scary. The scariest rabbit since Monty Python.
It's got real nasty teeth.
Is it behind the rabbit? It is the rabbit.
Hey, we're such city guys that just the idea of being out there, it's everything we think is out to get you. So, I mean, we would not do well in that circumstance.
You have a scary rabbit and a scary goat in this movie.
The goat and scary twins, and witches, and extreme darkness, and things going on in shadows. It's like it hits like all these different sweet spots. For I don't know, maybe this isn't going to work for young horror fans, because I don't know. I think you and I would hate this if we saw this at 16, 17.
I was talking to my friend Tom about The Shining, and we both did not like that movie when it came out because we thought it was too slow for us, because we were high school kids used to Maniac and Dawn of the Dead.
Yeah. And now things are really escalated. It's just, and attention spans are 5-10 minutes long.
Well, like when you watch The Boy with Lauren Cohen, they do a couple of things where there's a quick jump, or they speed the film up for a second, like in a transition, just stuff that's almost like when you're watching a YouTube video, people do to keep your attention span. Zoom in, zoom out crap.
Yeah, because I would love to see what the breakout is. And I'm sure even Rotten Tomatoes doesn't do this, of reviewers and their age. Yeah. So what age group likes The Witch more? Like my mother's 71. She thought it was great. I'm 48. Thought it was awesome. But I think the further you go down, I think if I showed my kids, they'd say I was out of my mind.
Yeah. And I'd be curious what it follows, too.
Yeah, I should. You know what? I should sit the family down and have an It Follows and The Witch marathon. Because my wife didn't see The Witch, so.
Wait for me to come over. I'll be in on that.
Oh, there we go. And then I don't have to rent it because you have it.
Although I like when I come over, we watch dumb stuff because then we can just talk during it.
You guys zone out. This is another dumb one. Give me a beer.
So I give The Witch 5 broomsticks.
You give it 5 broomsticks? I'm going to give it 4 broomsticks and 1 dust mop.
Oh.
I don't know what that means.
And away we go.
You know what, though? This is funny. And I didn't think about this even when we talked about doing this episode. Because I have a comic book recommendation, right?
Oh. Comic book Comic book review. Now I gotta put a special effect.
I happened to find this at my local comic book store. I go in there and I look for anything that's horror related. This is Harrow County. And what you see there is the skin of a dead boy coming out of this box. This is about a witch. In the very beginning of the comic, there is a witch in this town, and I would say the late 1800s, that the town strings her up on a tree and they kill her. Birthed within the tree are her two children, two girls. The story centers around Emmy, who is now 18 years old. She's been raised by this farmer. It's probably the early 1900s at this point. And she is discovering, well, first of all, the town tries to kill her because they know once she hits womanhood, she's going to become like the old Hester the witch. But she's different. She's Hester, but she's not. And she's in charge, she's realizing, of all these haints and demons that are in the woods. Some of the imagery in this is unbelievable. This is literally one of the best comics I've read in years.
Hold that up again?
Yeah. This thing...
HARROW County.
Yeah. It's... This skin, she finds this dead boy's skin, and it talks to her, and it's like her best friend. Jesus. And she keeps it in a satchel. The body itself, without the skin, is her familiar that doesn't speak and hangs around in the shadows, kind of protecting her. And then she comes across big demons. Oh, here's the... I don't know if you can see this.
Oh, I can see it.
Yeah. That's the body without the skin. So he kind of protects her. But
very Uncle Frank from Hellraiser.
Yes, exactly like Uncle Frank.
All I care about is new skin.
But yeah, there's all these demons that are mad at her because they think that she's Hester and left them. Because when the witch died, she left the woods full of all these ghosts and haints and demons. It's phenomenal. I can't tell you. I got the first 2 volumes, plowed through them, and then I found the next one isn't due until September, so I went out to the comic book store and I'm buying the individual issues because I can't wait that long.
Oh, wow.
I haven't felt like that since The Walking Dead years ago. Now I can...
It's so funny with The Walking Dead. I used to be like, oh my God, I can't wait for the next one. And now I do the trades, as you know.
Yeah.
And they come, and usually the day it came, I would plow through it. And I'm like, I'll get around to that later in the week.
Oh.
It's so lost.
I have a year, maybe a year and a half of trades sitting here that I haven't read yet. I'll get to them. Speaking of The Walking Dead, did you hear what Kirkman said about who will die on the show eventually?
I saw it. I didn't open it. But I figured he said probably everybody.
And I think it's sleight of hand, but he said Rick, Carl, Michonne, and Daryl
will all die.
Will all die eventually, but I think they're all going to die eventually.
Well, here's what I think will happen with that show eventually. I feel like they're going to do a time jump at some point, and Rick will be dead because Carl's an adult now.
Right.
Although, man, that show's running out of gas.
Well, they said the next season's going to be pulse pounding and change the world.
I hope so, because last season did not do it for me. And I thought that the cliffhanger with Negan was the biggest crock of crap.
Hour and a half of driving in an RV going, oh, this road's blocked. No, shit, really? No, that was unbelievably. There were so many stupid moments in that, especially the second half of the season. It was just inexplicably stupid. But whatever. They're making money.
Well, I like that. I may actually jump on Amazon and pick those up because I don't know when I'm going to see you to borrow those, so I might just get my own.
They are, I'm telling you, man, it's the best comic I've read in years and years. So pick it up, and it's witches. So we have a theme. It's witches, y'all.
Next time we get together, I got something for the set.
Let's see.
New bobblehead.
Get the F out of here.
Bigfoot bobblehead. Teaser for the next in-person Monster. I will not unbox them until I get to your house.
That box looks huge.
It is. Well, the feet are very big.
You know what? He's got the pose of the Patterson Gimlin, but he doesn't have the breasts. Or she.
Yeah, I can't tell. It's kind of Chewbacca androgynous.
Yeah, can someone tell me where to find a Bigfoot with breasts? I actually want one.
We got to do a show from the Cryptozoology Museum, and I'm sure we can find out there. This
fall, which they moved, so they have a new building, still in Portland, Maine. And I plan to go up there when the Jersey Devil comes out. So let's go up there and hang with Lauren
I'm in.
and find some Bigfoot boobs.
BFBs.
Yeah, there you go.
Cool. All right, well, I think that's it. I think it's a good one.
It's the witches, bitches.
The witches, bitches.
That's the title of the episode. It's the witches, bitches.
I think. All right.
There you go. So we have given you something to watch, something to read, and something to look forward to, which is the end of The Walking Dead.
Yes. Let the hate mail commence.
Please bring it on.
Bring it on. All right, then that'll do it for this episode. We'll see you next time on
Monster Man.